My name is Silantoi. I'm the CEC in charge of inclusivity, public participation, and customer service. So it is a new sector, but ideally it just brings together already existing departments that sat in different places and puts them in one place. Some of the departments might have been misplaced before. So I have departments like public communication, which previously sat under ICT. And public communication has that component of, first of all, just being able to talk about what the county does. But in addition to that, it has a customer service aspect of it. So how do we deal with our citizens? How do we have to deal with them as customers because we're providing a service for them. And so we're kind of reorienting how we view the services that we give. So citizens are not a nuisance for us to wish away. They are actually our customers who we render services to and raise revenue from. So we are reorienting how we think about that. And then of course I have city culture, arts and tourism, which sat in trade initially. But now, again, that subsector covers the tourism of our city. It covers what are we actually able to do, how do we market our city? Because you see, we're a global brand. We're not competing with other counties, we're actually competing with the New Yorks, the Londons, the Tokyos of this world. And so it's just restructuring and positioning ourselves to, in a way that competes with the rest of the world. So that we'll do that with different ways. So part of the things we're doing is the festival. The governor talked about the Battle of the Choirs, which will be over Easter. We'll be redoing some of our green spaces just so that they're usable by people to have recreational activities. Just bringing back life into the city and in a structured way, enabling that creative economy to succeed. And then of course I have gender and inclusivity, which covers gender mainstreaming, disability mainstreaming. This sat under social services, but we've put it here as a subsector on its own so that it's given enough weight, and just so that we are actually following through to make sure the implementation of our 30% AGPO, of our 30% gender requirement for employment and application is also done. So that's what my sector is about. And so it cuts across every single sector. And I forgot one major one, public participation. And we take public participation very seriously. The Constitution actually allows citizens to actually be engaged as part of the policy-making processes, as part of projects, just as part of government. And so the public participation previously sat in devolution, which is now sub-county administration, the boroughs sector. But we put it here and made it an entire subsector so that it gets the significance that it requires, that we actually do public participation that does not tick boxes, but actually engages people and is interested in knowing what do people actually want and how do we feed the need that is there, as opposed to a top-down pushing of activities, but rather in true fashion, a bottom-up approach in line with our party as well. It's a very wide docket. It cuts across every sector as well. We live in a digital phase, in a digital world, and so it's not realistic for us to keep writing letters, and I mean that's the system that we're using now. But my office is working on improving that and changing how we do that. And so I don't know if you saw the MOU signing that we had with Safaricom last week. Part of that MOU will be the development of My Nairobi app. And the app, one, will be very critical for payments and revenue. But then secondly, it will also be critical for raising any issues. If you want to report an issue, if you want to query about specific things, specific services that we provide, if you would like to know about different things that you could do in the city. So we are currently in the process of development with Safaricom so that we're able to have a platform where someone can actually report that. But also internally, we're working on a system that is able to raise tickets. So if there's a report that there's a pothole at Mirema Drive, we could be able to, the citizen is able to report that through the app, and internally it is able to be picked up and targeted to the specific sector that is responsible And if that is not followed through by specific timelines, then it gets to your supervisor, it gets to your chief officer, it gets to your CEC, then ultimately if it is not addressed, it can even get to the governor. So we are working on systems just that will allow us to actually just be able to help citizens find a place to report, one, but also secondly, find a place to find all the information that they need about the county. I used to work for an organization that does political and economic risk analysis. So I was still a little bit in this political space, if I am being honest, because my work is to be monitoring what does government do, how does it affect the clients that we deal with, what policies are being passed, what laws are being passed in relation to whoever we're dealing with. And so I was still around this space. And also initially I vied against my current boss in 2017 for Senate. So I've been around these political spaces before. I kind of had an idea of what that would be. I mean, the structures are a little bit different. The reporting mechanisms are a little bit different from private sector. The pace at which people work is a little bit different as well. But I mean, I was very happy to find people who are extremely qualified, working in their different sectors, doing the best that they can do in very severe circumstances, and dealing with so many different people at the same time. And so I'm actually glad to find the people that I found here. Of course, there are a few things will change here and there, just mainly because of the culture that has always existed, and that's my responsibility actually. So we're working on that. So it was an interesting transition, to say the least.